Hey everybody, welcome to this week's Stacking the Shelves. This is like part 2 of my BEA edition because, the box I've been bitching on Twitter about all week finally came. And it came, I think, the day after I filmed this, which ended up working out because the video was way too long anyway and nobody would have watched it because it would have been like double the time. So I got that, and then I got some other physical books in the mail this week, and I got some last minute ebook approvals today. So I'm going to start with those. And these, since I don't have covers from right now, I will post covers below the video so you can see. I got approved for The Cutting Room Floor by Dawn Clear. That's a Flux title. It's a thriller, and it sounds really, really exciting. And they were giving Arch of this away at BEA, but I wasn't able to grab one. So, yay! Because I did want one. And then from Delacorte, which is an imprint of Random House, I received, which, by the way, if you go on NetGalley, and you normally get approved for Random House titles on NetGalley, then the titles I got approved for today are Red by Allison Cherry and Tandem by Anna Jarza. Again, Tandem was a signed title at BEA that I wasn't able to grab a copy of, but I really, really wanted one. It was also a BEA Buzz title that they didn't have copies for at that panel, so yay, I'm glad I'm able to read it. Red is actually met Allison Cherry at BEA. She's really, really sweet and awesome, but they didn't have arcs of that there. But she tweeted today that it was up on NetGalley and Edelweiss, so I went and requested it, and lucky for me, I'm on auto-approved with Random House, so I was able to get a copy. That I'm super, super excited to read because, redheads have to stick together. So that's it for ebooks. I'm going to move on to physical, not BEA titles. Remember when I was tweeting last week that my neighbor had a package and UPS delivered to the wrong address? Well, I got it back, and I'm lucky I went over there again because it was Annie Goddess by Kendare Blake. So I have that, and I want to thank Tor for that. I'm really, really excited to read this. Because I really, really liked Anna Dressed in Blood. It wasn't like a favorite, but I did really like it. And I'm excited to read what she has next. And this is about mythology and... oh, Hermes. Athena and Hermes. Ooh, and a prophet. Well, that sounds exciting. I'm excited about that. I also received from Algonquin, this is an adult title, The Explanation of Everything by Lauren Gradstein. Now, if you go and read this blurb, it sounds like it would be an anti-atheist book, but I have been assured by the author that is not the case at all, and so don't, let the blurb put you off of reading this, because she is also an atheist, and is writing it from that perspective. So I'm very, very excited to read this and give you guys feedback, because, atheist fiction, there's not a lot of that. And then yesterday I got the sequel to Cruel, Altered, which doesn't have a cover yet, but I'm super excited to read it because I loved Cruel. I believe I gave it 4 stars, which, for me is a big deal, since I rarely ever get 5. Okay, we are now on to the BEA books, and I'm going to try to go through these fairly fast so the video is not long like last time, but I gotta say something about some of them. So, this I got at the Harlequin Teen Breakfast. There was a pile of books on our table, and we could choose what we wanted, and I got both books from this. I got The Goddess Test and The Goddess Inheritance. I had sort of wanted to read this, but I'm not huge about books that have a mythology background. I'm kind of a Greek mythology purist. I've always just loved the myths in their original forms. So I usually am going to like nitpick titles like this, but since they were there, I'm willing to try them. I have heard mixed things, good things and bad things. So I don't know. We'll try them. And then also at the Harlequin Teen Breakfast, Blogger Breakfast. I think it's called the Harlequin Teen Blogger Breakfast. I got Speechless. You can't even see it, but I got Speechless by Hannah Harrington. Lynn read this and loved it, and I know a lot of other people did too. It's a little bit shorter than I thought it was. This book kind of got a little beat up on the way here in the box. It's got such a pretty white cover, but there's like black marks, and you know, United States Postal Service is on my shit list right now, and probably will be for many years. I was able to grab the Iron Queen, which I was told is book 3 in her Iron King series. I haven't read book 2 yet, so I'm going to have to grab a copy of that somewhere before I read this one. But I'm not in a hurry to read this anyways, because I have like a billion, trillion, million, gazillion review copies to get through first, so yeah. But I did get to meet Julie Kagawa, and that was like freaking awesome. But I'll talk more about that in a minute. I got 2 finished copies, because like most of the reading world, I have not yet read Pushing the Limits or Dare You To. So I grabbed 2 finished copies. Those were also out on the tables. And I met Katie McGarry, and she signed this one for me. I was going to have her sign both, but we were short on time, so I was just like, yeah, you can sign one, and I'm good with that, because I'm not greedy. And, okay, yeah, back to Julie Kagawa. And I met her, got to hug her, watch stuff like freak out. It was like the cutest thing ever, stuff from Cuddlebuggery. And then I got The Eternity Cure signed, which I absolutely loved. I already read this. This is the only book I got from BEA that was a finished copy that I had already read. Everything else I haven't read yet. And she signed it. Nothing major, but it's personalized, and I thought it was really nice. She was like super, super sweet. Oh, by the way, this is my new bookshelf behind me, the empty one. You get to watch it fill up over the months, because I think I'm going to be filming more vlogs from this area, so you get to watch it fill up behind me, which I thought maybe would be kind of cool. Okay, on to the rest of the BEA books. I got the new Melissa De La Cruz, Frozen. I'm not really sure what this is about. All I know is that I wanted it. I remember reading the blurb and thinking, oh, I have to have that. And I read the first book in her Blue Blood series, and like, it was okay. Like, I didn't dislike it. I thought it was decent. I read it way back when. It sounds really, really interesting, but we'll see. So yeah. Oh, I guess I should tell you what some of these are published by, right? So all the ones before that were Harlequin titles. Altered is Macmillan. And then I got this. Frozen is Putnam. Yeah, it's an imprint of Penguin. I grabbed this at BEA, not because I wanted to read this side, because I know how many issues we had with the teen version of the book, but it's a double book in one. And this side is adult fiction, and I actually paged through the first couple pages of this, and it sounds like it might actually be really good, and I do have kind of like a strange fascination with serial killers, so we'll see. And I am totally going to review this honestly and try to be critical, and, you know, because he did kind of attack one of my friends. Don't normally read books by authors that tick me off, but it was there, and I was like, yeah, well, we'll give it a fair shot. So I did grab that. Then Christina told me that I absolutely had to pick this up. So I did. Oh, first of all, Kane's Blood, and that's Simon & Schuster, by the way. This is also Simon & Schuster, and this is The Lord of Opium. This is the long-awaited sequel to The House of the Scorpion, which I have not read, but I've heard tons of great things about, and I also know that it won like a bunch of awards, and so I will have to read that before I read this, but sure, I kind of always wanted to read it, so this gives me a chance, like, you know, the prime opportunity to. Then I got The Coldest Girl in Cold Town by Holly Black. This is an Ashet title. He's a little brown. But anyway, Giselle read this already and loved it. And yeah, I've never read a Holly Black book, but this one sounds awesome. Walled cities called cold towns exist. The only problem is once you pass through Cold Town's gates, you can never leave. One morning after a perfectly ordinary party, Tana wakes up surrounded by corpses. Her ex-boyfriend, is infected and on the edge. Yeah, it sounds really good. Exciting. And then the first signing line I got into when I got to BEA was for These Broken Stars. And when the employee handed this book to me as I was waiting in line, I like jumped up and down because I've been wanting this book forever. I don't know. Good, look at my hair. It's like super humid out today, so don't even bother trying. But yeah, it's all over the place. Anyway, I really, really wanted this book for like a long, long time since I heard about it, and I knew it was going to be a BA, and it was like one of my most coveted titles, and I'm happy I was able to meet them and get it signed. And I got a bookmark too. And I'm probably going to let Lynn borrow this when I'm done because I know how much she wants to read it too. And then this book got beat up too. It's one of the ones that got a little bit of water damage. It's Steelheart by Brandon Sanderson. I did wait in his signing line because everybody in my group wanted to. And you can go ahead and punch me now, but I have never read a Brandon Sanderson book. But I got a signature from him, and he was really nice. Like, super, super upbeat and, like, happy and friendly, and I'm excited to see what his books are like, because I've heard wonderful, wonderful things. And that was Random House, by the way. These Broken Stars is a Hyperion title. This is Algonquin. And this was a BEA Buzz title. It's so little. But this is If You Could Be Mine. It's a GLBT book. And it's also set in Iran. And it's by Sarah Farzan, I think. And it's contemporary, but it sounds like it might be a pretty tough read. But it's not particularly long, so there's bent pages in here. No! Great. Anyway, I said I was going to read more contemporary this year, and I'm doing pretty good, I think. Okay. This is Inhuman by Cat Falls, which is a Scholastic title. I love the cover of this book. Like, I love it. I don't know if you can see, but I love the covers that have dystopian cities on them. And there's a helicopter up here. And then it sort of looks like there's a wall and a bunch of skyscrapers. Destroyed skyscrapers. And the tagline is "Never let them tame you." Christina'd probably have fun with that one. But there's no blurb on the back, so I can't really tell you what it's about. I know it's a post-apocalyptic title. And I did read another book by this author that I really, really, really liked. I think it was called Darkfall. Oh, you know what? I have a sign. Dark Life. It's Dark Life. I have a signed copy from her. It was one of the first signed copies I ever won. It was from Goodreads, I think. I haven't won anything from Goodreads in like over a year now. But yeah, so I'm really excited to read this because everybody else may be over the dystopian trend, but I'm still holding on by string. And then I got Starry Nights by Daisy Whitney. This is a Bloomsbury title, and this was one of those that they had lying around, but you had to ask if they had copies, and I did, and they gave it to me. I was like, yay, thank you, and they were really, really nice at NetGalley, at a BEA, like super nice. It does, by the way, if you weren't able to grab a copy of this, it does say online galley distribution by NetGalley on here. So if it's not already up on NetGalley, it will be. It's pretty short. This is a contemporary, though, isn't it? No, this is not. This is a fantasy. This is about a girl trapped in a painting. Ooh, fun! The only reason I thought it was contemporary was because the last book I read by her was. Well, heck, this sounds awesome. And then I also got Sorrow's Knot from Scholastic. I don't know if I'm going to like this, to be honest. I read a couple pages of it, and the writing style might not work for me. But I hope that changes. And then I grabbed Dark Lord, A Fiend in Need. I didn't mean to sort of not grab it because I didn't know it was a sequel until I had already put it in my hands. And so, yeah. It looks really, really cute, though. And to be honest, the font's pretty big, and it is over 350 pages, but the font's like super, super big, and I think maybe I'll have time to work in the first book. The thing is like I'm already so behind anyways, so what the frick does it matter if I'm one more book behind? I'm really at that point. It's kind of sad. Okay, let's just try to speed this up. I got a copy of The Twins. This is from the new imprint Red Hook. Yeah, this is another Achet book group title. This is an adult fiction title, but I looked a little bit inside, and the writing style seems to be something that I would like. So, yay! Oh, and I got so many middle grade books, you guys. So many. I'm excited because I keep saying, hey, I want to read more middle grade. Wade. Oh, jeez. But I was able to grab like a ton of them at BEA, and that was exciting. So let me separate those out, and let's go through those really, really quick. Yeah, so I've already told you about a few, but let's just go through these really quick. We have The Creature Department by Robert Paul Weston, and I already read a couple pages of this, and it's adorably hilarious and cute. Counting by Sevens by Holly Goldberg Sloan. I've heard quite a bit about this author. Oh, yeah, I'll be there. I was going to say, what is her other title? This was also a Penguin title. It's by Dial. And this is contemporary also, and I'm really, really excited about reading this because it's about a girl who's a 12-year-old genius. She's obsessed with nature and diagnosing medical conditions who finds it comforting to count by sevens. And then tragedy strikes. Anyway, I have a feeling this protagonist is going to be like one of those girls that like just breaks your heart, and that's the kind of books I love. And then I got The Fantastic Family Whipple. This is the Razorbill title, which is also Penguin. It's about a family of world record breakers. Going into BEA, I wasn't going to try to grab a copy of this, but it was there. And I love the cover, so I will try it. This title I wanted so bad. When I saw that they were having a drop, I was so excited. The Twist Rose Key. That's the name to pronounce that I'll probably slaughter, but that's Tony Amhel. Tony Amhel. And it's called The Twist Rose Key. It's middle grade fantasy. I love the cover. think it's amazing. It's going to be at Comic-Con too. And major promotional national school and library conferences. So if you didn't go to BEA, but you are going to ALA, you might be able to grab it there. I got another signed Maria V. Snyder book. This is her new middle grade by Leap Books. I don't even know what publisher that is. Is that just like a small press and that's it? Anyway, this is pretty short. And I was like super, super, super excited to meet her. Yeah, like really excited. She was the one I fangirled over the most at BEA. Because I've read almost every single one of her books. The only thing I haven't read is the Storm Glass series. And I've loved them all. And then I got Wake Up Missing by Kate Messner. I had to grab this one because it was a sci-fi set in the Florida Everglades. But it is from a middle grade perspective. So, yeah, middle grade sci-fi is kind of unusual. Like the last one I think I can think of reading is Dark Eden by Patrick Carman, which was okay. But then I heard the sequel was super, super bad and I didn't bother to pick it up. I got the sequel to The Raven Boys, The Dream Thieves. Believe it or not, I have not read The Raven Boys, but I will. Heard good things about it. I haven't had great luck with Maggie Stiefvater's books. I hated her Shiver series. I couldn't even get through the first book. But maybe this one will work better. I got a physical copy of Ink by Amanda Sun. I already had an e-copy, but now I can read it in its physical form. So I'm excited about that. And I actually I have that coming up soon. Like after Siege and Storm, then I read that. So I got this is nonfiction. Or wait. No, this is fiction. He's written nonfiction before. Anyway, this is by the author who wrote The Art of Hearing Heartbeats, which I also have a copy of, which I wasn't able to read. And I saw this by other press. I saw this at BEA, and I walked up there, and they gave me a copy. And it's set in Burma, which it's hard to find books set in Burma. So I thought I would try it with my, I have my little Asian obsession. And I'm almost done. Tor Teen was handing out copies of Relic by Heather Terrell. This is one of the ones I wanted to grab. It's a dystopian. You wouldn't think so from the cover. It kind of looks like a fantasy cover. But it sounds kind of like a mashup between Cruel, about being a tester, relics, artifacts, corrupt civilizations, different lands. I don't know. So maybe not a mashup, but it sounds kind of like a mixed bag. So we'll see. And then I got Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. Yay. I'm super excited to read that. And like all my friends have been reading it and loving it. So yay. I'm super excited. And I got, this is another one I grabbed at the Harlequin Teen. Well, no, this was in my tote bag. This was something they gave us at the Harlequin Teen Blogger Breakfast. And it's Heartbeat by Elizabeth Scott. This one doesn't come out for a while. And I haven't had the greatest luck with Elizabeth Scott's titles, but she was like super, super nice. And, I'm always willing to try again. Because I know authors go through changes, so do readers. So maybe we'll, come together on something. And finally, oh, nope, got one more after this. Entangled by Amy Rose Capetta. And this is by Hope Mifflin Harcourt. Yeah. Yep, this is a Hope Mifflin title. This is like the only Hope Mifflin title I got, I think. This is sci-fi. Hologram named Mr. Niven tells her she was created in a lab in the year 3112. 3000. how would you even say that? Whatever. With a boy, entangled at a subatomic level with a boy named Zan. Well, they talked a lot about this book, and they made it sound really good. The blurb doesn't really do it for me, but we'll see. And then finally, at the Macmillan party, I got this. It's like a bound manuscript of The Winter's Curse by Marie Rutkowski, and this was one that Steph and Kat of Cuddlebuggery were able to read early, and they got to do a blurb for the arc, and there's all sorts of blurbs in here. It's really cool, actually. I read her book, The Shadow Society, and I didn't love it. Like, it was okay. But they have assured me that this book is amazing. So, when I get around to reading it, I am sure I will be giving them my feedback. And that's it for me. That's a lot of books, and this video ended up being longer than the first one. Oh well, I'm going to cut it out really quick, and I know you won't watch it, and I don't blame you. Or maybe you can just like do something else while it's running in the background, and that way when there's a title that you really want to see, you can just come back. But anyway, I will totally put links to all the books below and photos of the ebooks so you can see what the covers look like. And maybe I'll be back next week for another vlog. Maybe I won't. Just depends on what I get. I don't predict it being a very big week, so I'm probably going to say no vlog next week, but we'll see. Anyway, happy reading, and we'll see you next week. Bye, guys.